The Education Minister, Nicky Morgan, it's about choice. Choice for parents, but more importantly, choice for pupils. The only nice thing I can think to say about Nicky Morgan is she isn't Michael Gove. Before she became Education Secretary, she was Equalities Minister, and before that she voted against same-sex marriage. I don't have a problem if you voted against same-sex marriage, you're entitled to an opinion, but don't make her Equalities Minister, for God's sake. And now she's in charge of my son's education. Yeah, I do have a problem. This is the woman who said you shouldn't take arts and humanities subjects because you'll end up earning less money. Yeah, it might be true, Tim, but she's talking to 12-year-olds. At that age, you should be picking subjects that you're good at or that interest you or that you enjoy. I just worry that the government sometimes forgets what schooling is all about. To them, it's like everything else. Education is a commodity. Your child is a financial investment. Teachers are machines in a factory on a conveyor belt, pushing out the next generation of investment wankers. This is how they see education. Your child is either a financial investment or a financial burden, depending on how much they earn in 20 years' time. What about education for education's sake? What about history or music or appreciation of literature or making a fucking table? Well, you'll earn 10% less over your career. I don't care, I just made a fucking table. Look, I can put all these beautiful books that I just read on top of it. Teaching is the epitome of overworked and underpaid, and that isn't why they're leaving the profession in droves. They're leaving because they're not trusted to do their job. They don't trust teachers. They don't trust parents. David Cameron wants parents to go on good parenting courses. This coming from a man who left his child in a pub. They don't trust teachers. They don't trust parents. Actually, they trust parents more than they trust doctors. Not that we need doctors anymore, because you can just Google it. Jeremy Hunt last week said if you find a rash on your child, you shouldn't bother your GP, you should just look it up online. Basically, Google it. Our health minister is asking us to Google our symptoms. Oh, I think little Jimmy's got gout. Let's chop off his feet. Is that what you're supposed to do? I don't know, because I'm not a doctor. It's dangerous. The man is a fucking idiot, and he's in charge of our National Health Service for as long as we've got it. Two most important things a government can do is look after the nation's health and look after the nation's education. And on both counts, we've got a fucking idiot in charge. The way I see it, you should halve doctors and teachers, you should halve their hours and double their pay, if need be. And the same goes for TV news reporters as well. And subsidised cocaine and hookers. Yeah, I thought you'd like that one, Tim. Wanker. Okay. Well, the Education Secretary, Nicky Morgan, today...
Salutations, you guys, and thank you for tuning in to another edition of Crisis Corner. I have titled this one, Obeying Big Brother, simply because we're seeing all kinds of actions on the part of these globalists, these technocrats, the elite, the satanic Luciferians, whatever you want to call them. We're seeing an entire push from them on every single side. Highlighted in this clip with Jonathan Pye talking about Nicky Morgan, the head of the health services in Britain. And basically the idea I was trying to illustrate with the clip is the fact that we are seeing across the board institutions come out to where they're demanding instead of asking. Instead of trying to aid us, they're telling us they're going to do these things. Government has somehow been able to flip the script to where they think that we are dependent on them, and because of this aspect, they now have to treat us like children, treat us like they're slaves, they're dead slaves. This is the nanny state, this is the technocracy. This is what they mean whenever they call us the goyim, or the sheep. You see, right now I have in front of you 2 articles illustrating the New World Order. Obama wants access to your digital devices to prevent terrorism and tax cheats. And on Countercurrent News, we're hearing how the FBI orders teachers to report students who question government authority. Now, what do you think that really sounds like to you or to anyone? It sounds like obey. And I have my own theories as far as the clothing line. It was established back in 1989, and it features a lot of what I would consider Illuminati symbolism. And you can see it right here in this simple picture. The red, white, and black communist colors, the the eye, the pyramid, the triangle, the symbolism, all kinds of different stuff. You know, this is them pretty much advertising the fact that you are in a slave society, a prison planet. You need to obey. So whenever people purchase this thinking it looks cool and trendy, what they're really doing is advertising for this new world order, for these technocrats, the people that are subliminally trying to tell us something. I have another article for you guys. And these types of articles are surfacing more and more. And the reason why I'm saying types is because of the big brother aspect, you know, the obey aspect, the big brother ideology of where everyone is watching everyone, with the idea that a bill in Ohio would require parents to have background checks. So if you were to send your child to school at one of these public indoctrination centers, also known as public schools, you would be required to have a background check to see if you were even viable to enter your child into this program. And that's where we are. That's social indoctrination. That's creating an entire generation of people whose loyalties are not only to the parents, but to the state. But what do you think all this information, who would be the best person to gather all of this metadata? More data, which would be essential to you than what you're probably looking at, you see. They can only collect so much metadata, but who has more information about you than you think? Your children. Your children. And like some kind of predator would, these people are attacking them first. So as I was saying, with the metadata aspect, kids these days, they have all kinds of different things. They have access to the internet like no one's ever seen before. They're extremely adept to it, and they're able to figure it out like that. Okay, earlier I started out this video, and I'll get back to it, with Obama mentioning how he wants unilateral access to our phones to prevent terrorism and tax cheats. Now, what do we have here from the Washington Post? Surprise, the NSA data will soon routinely be used for domestic policing that has nothing to do with terrorism. Nothing. Why do you think this is? This is them getting us prepared for the idea that, hey, look, you're going to get spied on. If your government thinks you're sketchy, you're sketchy. You got to deal with it. That's not our problem. Where else did we see this kind of behavior? Like I said, these types of articles, where else did we see these types of things surface? I don't know if you guys remember, but bringing in 2016, the FAA required people to register their commercial, their private drones. They were supposed to be registered to the government. Once the process is complete, drone operators are provided with a registration number, which they affix to their aircraft. Operators only have to register once, even if they have multiple drones. The registration process will cost $5 per person, but the FAA is waiving it for the first 30 days to encourage participation. The registration is valid for 3 years. The move is the latest attempt by the FAA to bring some order to the domestic drone industry, which has exploded in popularity this year. This is, the article is from December 14th, 2015. So clearly they saw a rise in the market sales with drones. They saw how popular they became. What did the government do? They wanted eyes on what everybody was doing with those drones. Remember, UAVs, unmanned aerial vehicles, they're kind of a new thing. So to have them in the commercial level where people can buy them, that's giving power to the slaves that they don't want. What if they stumble upon something that can't be undiscovered? You see, so it has to be regulated. And this is more of the government telling us what it's going to do. You see, I have another article that I want you guys to take a look at. So this goes along the lines of what they would consider domestic terrorism. This is what I would consider giving power to the slaves. Power to us, freedom, liberty, what's up? This is what we need, okay? So right here with this article, DHS tells Congress how and why it's monitoring Facebook, Twitter, and blogs. Terrorism, of course, that's the only other thing that they would really need to do, you see. So with these types of articles, this is them publicly stating that we are giving over our rights because of terrorism. because of, well, national security. They need to know what we're up to at 24/7. There's no such thing as spying. This is the new modern day Gestapo. You see, so do you see what I mean whenever these types of articles continue to surface? This is more or less along the lines of the obey. And this is Big Brother telling us what they're going to do, or at least telling us what's already in play. Another thing that kind of caught my eye and goes along with this same concept is the fact that in this society where they are telling everybody what to do, they have to understand which ones will be the problems, which individuals will cause the disruptions with the system, you see. So they have recently come up with an idea to calculate the score, or being able to assess the threat of someone. So the more that you start to look at this type of stuff, you see how many different things they have in place. This is being instituted over here in America, whereas in China, they're also implementing this thing called Sesame Credit, your Sesame Credit score. We already have your credit score, and all kinds of other personal information. But the idea with this is that they're able to, for some strange reason, figure out your threat level or your threat score or your citizen ranking, you see. So if you don't visit my site, you'll probably be in a good place with these guys. If you like cat videos, you'll probably be in a good place with these guys. If you're a mindless zombie, you have nothing to worry about. So the question is why are they doing this now? Why are they coming up with technology to assess threats? Did you know there was a pre-World War II movement called the technocracy, which held that scientists and engineers should take over the government and economy from politicians and economists? The leader of this movement was known as the Great Engineer. Now, so what I'm talking about right now is science, math, business, politics, philosophy, all kinds of different things wrapped together in a bold package called the technocracy. This is what George Orwell called 1984. This is Aldous Huxley's The Brave New World. You see? So whenever I'm talking about these technocrats, what I'm really doing is giving a more modernized vision, or at least a more comparable version of what we consider the New World Order. If you've seen any of my work before, then you've seen this formula before. I call it the COPSEC formula, Bill Gates' depopulation formula. And let me run through this right quick with you guys. So with this green agenda, sustainable development, Agenda 2030, everybody trying to push for clean, sustainable energy by 2020, that is hinging on this fact right here, that we're able to keep this simple formula, right? Carbon dioxide, it's, in Bill Gates' eyes, people times the service that they're able to provide plus, or times the energy that they're able to create with that service, and then the carbon dioxide that's produced through the energy of that service, okay? So if we're looking at it in Bill Gates' eyes, one of these numbers needs to get down because they're obviously too high. He's trying to bring the carbon dioxide to zero. This is for the green revolution, okay? So with that idea, what we're seeing more of is the fact that we're being turned into numbers. The Big Brother just sees us as another cog in the wheel where we're helping this beast system, the technocracy, rise. And according to Big Brother, we're not supposed to interfere with the growth of this, you see. And that's whenever it starts to get a little bit difficult to understand. Because at this point, they're pretty much telling us, no, you're slaves, and this is how it's going to work. So based off of the fact that we are just numbers to these people, you see, according to Big Brother, we can't do a lot of the work that they can, these machines, the way they're trying to have the system operate, the way they're trying to upgrade the system. Right here, the Pentagon's procurement system is so broken, they're calling on Watson. So what do we know about Watson? Watson was, well, the actual machine that put the numbers, the serial numbers, on the Jews during the Holocaust. And they're still around. And now we're giving them access to the Pentagon's procurement system. I think that falls along the lines of no treat lists, death panels, and even Bill Gates himself said he was not supposed to talk about this whenever he was looking at that specific formula. And whenever we actually have the need for formulas, we also have the need for numbers. Okay, South Korea spent $860 million investing in artificial intelligence. That's the same thing as the Pentagon putting its money and time into Watson. They're calling it the inevitable robot takeover. The machines are coming, the robots are coming, you see. They're trying to replace us. And in this world of Big Brother, you have to obey. This is what a technocracy looks like. And one of the even stranger things about it, about all of this, about Big Brother, this technocracy, this global police state that they're trying to usher in, is the fact that they are doing things such as pre-crime or using technology for pre-crime. And I know that sounds extraordinarily fake. Something out of a movie, also known as Minority Report. However, that's not the case. We can see preliminary ways of checking what's going to happen. It's called trending. We're able to see the rise and fall of things that are interesting. Markets do this all the time, predicting the future, predicting what's going to be popular. You see? So if we're going off the aspect that everything is numbers, they're doing all kinds of equations, being scientists and engineers, mathematicians, being technocrats, we're going off of the idea that these people are trying to manifest a reality. They're building the infrastructure around us. And all the things that we're seeing are a byproduct of it. So whenever I tell people that they're saying that we need to obey Big Brother, the idea that I'm saying is with this global system that they're trying to implement, where we're spying on ourselves, we need to stay off of their radar. Because what they have planned isn't good. I mean, if they can say they have this technology now, think about it. Pre-crime technology. Being able to stop a crime before it even happens. That's just about justification to do anything you want. If you're manipulating time, if you're saying, here's the data, it could happen, well, you're looking at it as a totalitarian or a dictator, someone who's jumping straight to conclusions. This is someone trying to play God. If the person was meant to be a criminal, let the person make the choice and let the person learn the lesson from it. However, now, in this technocratic society where government is God and we are told what to do, what to think, when we should be upset, when we should be mad, wouldn't it just be one more thing for these guys, a little step further, just for them to say, well, you're not going to be a criminal because we looked at your stats, your numbers, and we're thinking, this guy, he's going to end up a criminal. But how many times do we look at studies, reports that come out that contradict one another? These people are trying to interfere with life, with God's way, with the way things should be, with nature. So whenever they're saying, obey Big Brother, they're saying obey the beast system that we all know is wicked. And what's even more strange is the fact that we are creating the devil. And we can deny it as much as we would like, but you can see the evidence, and that's even more strange. So to summarize it in conclusion, guys, basically stay off of the radar. And I know that sounds silly coming from me if you're watching this, because I'm probably on their radar. I have been since I have started. But if I didn't do it for love, and I didn't want to do it for the right reasons, I wouldn't still be here. But that's all I got for you guys. Thank you for tuning in to this episode of Crisis Corner. This is Noise Era, Freedom Faction, out.